still angry that it hasn't started snowing.
Actually, hold on one sec.
Still angry.
Let me just be. It'll be quiet for a second, and I'll start it. Yeah, no. This is weird. It doesn't make sense.
It sounded like you just vacuumed, or not vacuumed, zipped up a zipper. I was like, okay.
It sounded like I zipped up a zipper.
Yeah, because you were like, oh, and I was like, what the hell is he doing?
Hey, I'm really good at making sound effects, and I bet it will sound way worse actually if I were to be. Never mind, doing it through the microphone. Oh my god, I don't even know. Hello. My name is Free.
And I'm dead inside.
Oh wow, that was so cheerful. And
I know, I
welcome.
gotta be angsty every once in a while.
Well,
I'm Randy, by the way.
Oh, that's why.
I'm Dina.
Welcome to the party that we call Podcast Pending for what I believe is the 4th or 5th episode.
Honestly, I've already lost track, and I think that's exactly how a podcast is supposed to be.
It is the 4th episode. I just don't remember because remember there was that one episode that we were going to make that would have been the 2nd episode, but then
then I was sad.
Then you got sad and I was sad and I was like, nah, fam, maybe next time.
Yeah, basically.
So that's what happened to the mysterious and now lost 2nd episode that was like maybe 10 minutes long.
I was gonna say we
nah,
didn't
fam.
even get into it. Not really.
Nope, I wasn't into it. I'm okay with that though. I got my Dr. Pepper, and it's really actually flat. It's really flat. I'm kind of sad.
I've chugged my orange juice, and now I have nothing.
You have a water bottle?
I'm getting it too. I do. I have a water bottle. Actually, I have bagel chips as well, but I'm not going to subject your ears to that because gluten-free bagel chips are the crunchiest thing ever.
What?
Bagel chips.
They're gluten-free.
They crunch. They crunch so loud.
Hey, gluten-free means, gluten. God, nope, never mind. Nope, I don't even
know what you're saying anymore.
I don't know what I was saying either. I just wanted to see if I could figure something out. I had to do improv at an audition today, so I'm already like improv'd out. It was super awesome. No, it was actually really cool.
I like improv. Improv is rad.
Well, no, it was really weird because it was. I was asked to come in and do an audition with a dramatic monologue, so I picked one from the Pillow Man, of course.
Yes, I love the Pillow Man.
Yeah, so I went in with that one, did this dramatic interpretation of it that I was like, I think this is good. Like, thinking back, I'm like, I think that's about how I wanted to do the monologue. I realized that there was I actually auditioned on yesterday, too, so I used the monologue for both of them, because I could.
Nice.
But it was a matter of, okay, this monologue, what points am I trying to do? Where am I, like, my heights and my valleys? Where do I expand from? And, there's different things like that I'm like, how do I show all the range that I can do with this monologue? And I think I did it, but honestly, I think I need a longer monologue, because it goes so fast. Except it doesn't. I really kind of milk it and make it go as long as it can because I know it isn't very long. But that's just me. But for the after I finished the dramatic monologue, he's like, "Great, I like it. Now, do it as if you're trying to seduce me."
Oh,
and I was like,
nice.
"Oh, you want me to seduce you with my dramatic monologue?" No, that's fine. I could probably do it. So I did that. It's funny. I get the role.
Seducing.
It was
Subpar
interesting.
Seducing.
I think it was good. It was hard to seduce with this dramatic monologue. I'll be honest. There was It's funny because the other short film that I got into involved me being really, really gay for a second of it. Well, not gay. I don't know. I guess you could call it like that. But it was very...
I guess it could be considered gay.
I guess it was one of those, like, I'm trying to tell people how incredible this costume that I'm making is going to look, but the costume is only me in a wig and nothing else. And it's just bare and on fire. And I don't say it quite like that, but I'm walking away, it would be like an ass shot, and then you spin your head around, look at them with these eyes, and then you say those lines. So I kind of did one of those. And he loved it. They loved it. There were two of them. I seduced both of them. We'll see how well I did with seducing them, though, when they if they call me back.
Ooh,
But
fingers crossed.
yeah, well, there's two things I auditioned for, and I felt pretty good about both of them. It's just a matter of, do I have the look and the voice to make it look good? Because I know that I have the acting chops, and I know that they know that I do. And I haven't even totally updated the resume that I gave them. Mine's still like the old resume from before when I went to LA.
Oh, you need to work on that.
Well, I have it, but I didn't want to print out more resumes when I had two pretty much perfectly good ones.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm out of resumes, I need to go and print out some more. And
Get it.
that means I get
Print
to print
out
them
those
out,
resumes.
the newest and most up-to-date resumes, because while the old ones were good, these ones just have more fluff and will be like, wow, look at all the things that you've done. Oh my goodness, that's incredible. Oh, okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
I was like, that voice is something.
It's bad. I think I'm taking it from the director in my Hollywood theater dude.
Oh, I was
Director
gonna say it
dude.
reminded me of the Boy Scout leader in South Park,
Okay,
the gay one.
Oh, why does you have to be gay and talk like this all the time? That's not even a thing. What do you think you're doing? Do you think you're crazy?
Also,
I think
okay,
you're
random
crazy.
fun fact about Randy today. So I was like kind of dinking around downstairs because I was looking for nail polish because I painted my fingernails for the first time in like 3 years. And I found some Vicks Vapor Rub, and I was like, man, I love Vicks Vapor Rub. And so I just put some on, and I was like, why am I doing this? It was just such a very odd thing that I've
I like
done
to get
today.
high off of Vicks Vapor Rub.
No, I literally just put some on my chest and I was like, this is gonna feel great. And I'm like, I'm not even sick. Like, what am I doing? I'm just randomly putting Vicks Vapor Rub on my body.
Well, you know,
This is great.
that's fine. That's totally okay. Oh, I didn't even say the last part.
Oh,
So I did the
Whoa.
dramatic monologue. I did the dramatic monologue done in a seductive way. And then
Nice.
I did an improv scene where they're like, all right, here's what you're going to do. Except they never said improv scene, but it was basically improv scene. So, this thing over here that I don't even know what it is, then the person next to him was like, that's a projector. And he's like, this projector, it's going to be a bomb. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yes, a bomb, he says. And it says, I want you to defuse this bomb, but in the process of defusing this bomb, you have to go through 3 different sets of emotions. They're going to be bravery. The other one is the feeling when you're like, oh gosh, I can't do this. I don't actually remember what that's supposed
the
to.
ocean moment.
What is I don't remember what that's called. The cowardice? It's not cowardice, but it's like
Panic?
Panic, maybe. It was closer to what he meant. And then the last one was the reaction to after successfully defusing the bomb. And I was like, oh, okay. So improv scene with 3 different emotions? Great. And then he's like, oh, and to make this easier, he turns his computer around and it's a timer with 1 minute left. And I'm like, I guess I better start then. So that was a fun scene to do. And I think they liked it because I made them laugh at the end.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
yeah, I've been surprised how many improv scenes that you get for auditions out here. Like they're just like, all right, well, number one, you don't actually hear people asking for monologues much anymore because they're like, we know that you could probably prepare something, but that number one, we're gonna find people that don't or that have a script with them or aren't memorized or panic. It's just easier to give them a script that we have them look at it, and then present it how they interpret it in the moment. And you don't get everything, but you get generally what you're trying to find. And the only issue is, well, they haven't spent a ton of time on the monologue, so it's not going to be as, boisterous as you'd otherwise see. But then improv scenes, those happen kind of a bit, apparently. I've done multiple improv auditions, and they've been like, work with this random dude that you've never seen in your life for a few minutes over a few different scenes, and we're going to see if you're compatible. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let's go. But that's what my I didn't really know if I would actually use my improv training in college, but oh my god, I've used it a ton. So,
Honestly, improv is the most fun. Like, I wish that I could get into like an improv troupe. Not that I'm like the best actor because I don't have the experience, but like I improv so much around people just randomly, and it's a lot of fun. And then I do it to my acting friends who are like on board immediately, and it's great.
nah, that's why actors are the best at parties because there's drama, but it's the good kind of drama where everyone has fun. Or like someone's like, "Do you guys play improv? Do you guys want to do an improv game?" And then it's just an improv game, and it's
Fun.
always enjoyable. Or it's stuff like you're playing Cards Against Humanity, and you just everyone's in an acting mindset, and it just feels good. Oh, it's so good. I miss
love Cards
I
Against
miss
Humanity.
hanging out with theater friends back in South Dakota because you have like people who are actors out here and people who are into entertainment, but they're all different kinds of acting and entertainment. You'll find the music artists, or you'll find the people that only read off of scripts or commercials, and then you'll find the actors who are, part of short films or stage theater or musicals. And it's not, too different, but there are differences. But it's fun. I'm gonna go to a party next week, and I'm super freaking excited, cause it's gonna be fun. I don't know anything about it, but the dude, his name is Tusher.
You sure?
Although I can't be too sure if that's.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I hate you.
No, I hate
little
making
bit.
that joke too because I've said it in front of him, and he's like, "Haven't heard that one." It's just one of those like, yes, the names and yeah. But Tusher is one of the dudes that I've seen on set out here, probably the most, and he's pretty freaking cool. And he also loves EDM. Actually, I found a whole group of people who are super into EDM, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're like, we're a
Kindred
thing.
spirits?
We gotta be a thing. It's awesome. So that's I'm excited because it's like Leon, Kristen, Tusher, another girl who I can't think of at this exact moment, but I see her and I could probably find her on Instagram because we all exchange Instagrams. But someone has to be the first one to be like, "Hey, do you guys want to like pass around Instagrams?" And then everyone's like, "Yeah, let's do that." But you know how
Dude, that's me. That is so me.
it's just no, it's the same thing where something I've been thinking about this year as to be like my goal for the year is to become better at communication. Because if there's anything I was bad at last year, it was probably communication with like
Yeah.
people back
Yeah,
at
it's
home
valid.
and people who are friends out here and family.
Oh my god. Oh my god. When you came up to Minneapolis, I was like, Eric, have you talked to any of your friends yet? And you're like, no, I was just gonna, kind of let things happen. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
That's not how that works.
No.
Then I got a group of us together, and we went and had a great time. It was wonderful.
the issue that I have is just so communication is a really tough thing for me, or it has been for a lot of my life. So it's been something that I have to work really hard for, or have to be really like. I'm used to there always being people nearby or around me, so not having them nearby is so foreign to me that I don't know what to do because it's like I'm only really around my home a lot of the time. So when I have friends of mine who, live a few miles away or live in South Dakota and I don't see them for long periods of time, the idea of communicating with them is so, it's like, oh, I have to send them messages. I have to call them. I have to be like a friend to them, even though I can't see them.
No.
And that's just something that I've always just assumed people would Justin me. Because Justin was the guy, a friend of mine. Justin is this guy who would always like create the group, always be the dude who like says, hey, you and you, we're gonna get together, we're gonna go to the pool, or we're gonna hang out in my place, or we're gonna go to, I don't know, Great Bear or something, a ski place in South Dakota. But it's something that I've never really had to do for myself, or I felt like I don't really need anybody myself. I'm just good enough by myself in my video games. So now that I'm out here in entertainment and have to think, oh, well, shoot, communication. That's something that I don't actually have a ton of experience in. That's something I need to get better at. And it's, I'm what's the word? I have a disposition to that being easier for me because of the whole acting thing. And it's like, as an example, we're doing this podcast and I almost never say or what have you, because I'm
What have you? Instead of saying I'm just now going to go, what have you?
I want to talk about what have you, but first it's I have a story about that saying, but it's one of those. Actually, I got to remind you of another story before that though. But
oh my god.
Essentially, communication is my goal as a thing to work on, and it's tough. It's really tough for me, and I've hurt people because of it, and it's really unfortunate because I have to communicate with so many people while also juggling all the other things that I have going around and trying not to, but still worrying about money for the most part, cause money. Jeebus
I mean,
Chrysler.
you are a starving artist out in LA. I think that goes without saying, honestly.
Yeah, it will change in a heartbeat. But when that happens is just the question. It's just, I feel it coming, and I'm really, really, really close. Like, finding an agent, and it'll work out.
I'm so excited.
I have the faith. And it's really soon. But, okay, so the first part.
Oh my god.
This is really quick, I swear. Do you remember back in middle school, there was a thing where people were invited to come up to the stage during lunch, and they were asked to talk about a random topic that they give them on stage for a minute without saying or
I remember that.
Yeah. I think about that all the time now. And that's like why I don't ever say or part of why I never say it is because I have that ingrained in my mind where if someone's like, all right, you're going to talk about bubblegum I still remember this specifically, bubblegum. And you're going to talk about it for a minute without saying the bad words. And I remember.
Like was one of the words.
Or like, yeah. But I remember I don't think it was the bubblegum one. I think the person who did bubblegum actually did it or did it pretty well.
Oh no, I thought that was the person who started off saying and then was like immediately disqualified.
I actually wasn't sure because I was about to say there was one other one where someone like, your topic is this, and they're like, okay, ding ding. Yeah, it was one of those sort of things, but yeah, I think about that. I'm really glad that you remember that sort of thing.
Of course.
But the other thing was what have you. Do you remember the podcast? I think it was not conspiracy, but an alien, like it's aliens believer dude that was on Sirius Radio that we'd listen to.
Oh,
I don't remember what his name
guy
was.
who was like, he wasn't like a part of the one church where they all like killed themselves, but he was like,
what?
God / the aliens are like in cahoots or whatever.
Maybe I just know that it was this
and
dude.
And then he got a lot of like crank calls.
Yeah, probably. I think
that's, yeah.
I know that he had a really deep voice, and he had a partner in crime he was working with on Sirius Radio, and it was an interesting show. But one of the things that he'd always say in his deep, robust, and like, I don't know, there was another word.
Deep, robust, woody.
Resonant voice was what I was looking for.
Jesus.
Was when he'd say, what have you. I have that in my vocabulary, and it's just stuck in me now. Well, what have you? And it's just this. I have the total opposite octave of this dude's voice. Like, my normal talking voice is 2 octaves above what his is.
See, okay, so I went to NerdCon the first year that it was a thing over in St. Paul. No, it was in Minneapolis. And they were doing a panel for the Welcome to Night Vale cast. And I remember the guy who plays Cecil, the radio host for Welcome to Night Vale.
Oh, yeah.
Cecil Baldwin. He would like say stuff and then he would go, and it's really dark and like deep voice. So it's like da 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 da, and then like in that same kind of like no kind of voice. And I will never not remember that because I think he said over 40 times
Wow.
during the hour-long panel.
That's funny. That reminds me, I would just listen to a Monster Cat podcast when I was traveling down to the audition. And one of the comments made in there was this specific dude. I think it was Conroe, but the specific artist. I might be wrong. I don't remember which one, but I'm thinking Conroe was that whenever he talked, he would say his sentence and then end his sentence with boom, like every time, or at least very consistently. Well, it's like, it was one of those weird comments where it was like, oh yeah, then this was a thing. And I'm like, is that really a thing? Or do you just remember the sentences that he ended with boom? Which means that it kind of works. But I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny and related to what we were talking about.
Story?
That was my second story about the what have you. So it was first the and then it was what have you from the alien talk host dude. Host, talk, show, host. Yeah. Radio talk show host. That's, yeah. But instead of radio, it's on satellite. Yeah.
Wow.
Ah, no, computer.
So we're pretty into our podcast now. Do you want to get to our first and light topic of the day?
See,
I sure do.
I like starting like this, where we're just casually talking, and then if people do actually come here for the what did we talk about? You know. Also, all right. You know what? Yeah, I'll say this just before we start.
We go immediately into Sidebar Nation.
No, what I was gonna say is I like when we just talk and ramble, but have like specific points. But that the points that we do want to talk and debate about, those are, you know, if we want someplace to go, or we want something that we do want to talk about, or that, what do you say? They are things to do if we can't think of anything else that's happened. But knowing the two of us, that would probably happen all the time. Or that we would probably could just keep going for hours.
I was going to say, yeah,
stop.
no, we're one of those people that could talk for like 5 hours without stopping or having like very many lulls. And,
like,
yeah.
I've considered making this a 2-hour podcast because that's...
2 hours?
Yeah, CGP Grey and, oh my gosh, that's awful. I should know his name. But the dude who does the videos for like periodic videos and, is it Simplicity? No. Whatever. But another British, I'm sorry, British YouTuber who makes a lot of science videos, but those two do a podcast called Hello Internet, and it's wonderful. Oh, it's so nice. It's so like listening to CGP's Gray's voice is so freaking soothing. Like I just think his voice and his demeanor is just wonderful. Like I want to take a class from him, or like go and have tea or coffee with the dude at random points of the month. You know, I just think that'd be so chill. But that's what I wanted to say before we started our topic. But and also what I kind of like about our podcast and theirs. Okay, go.
Okay. So our light topic that we are discussing today is spoons. Yay or nay? Eric, would you like to start?
You know, you're just prepping me so you can explode. Yes.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, I am.
Spoons are a thing that I eat soup and cereal and other things with. That without spoons, I would be in dire need of spoons. And I think you're gonna find that most often, generally, most people are going to like spoons, that they're necessary in the Western world.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Spoons.
Well.
Don't like spoons. I have strong feelings about spoons. Because, okay, here's the thing. Spoons are the most, like, basic tool we have in our eating cutlery. They're so basic. And you hardly use them for any meals, like soup, okay? But here's the thing. You don't really need a spoon for soup. You can easily slurp that stuff. And then chopsticks or fork if you want them noodle bits or whatever. Like, there's so many more options. Spoons are awful. I don't even use ice cream I don't use spoons in my ice cream. I just use a fork because you have so much more control with a fork. Like, I think we should just get rid of spoons replace them with sporks. Just because, like, some people want to have the spoon mechanic, but, like, it's stupid. Um, I'm so angry about spoons. I hate spoons a lot. And that kind of surprises people.
Ice cream. I was gonna say mashed potatoes, but I don't even use a spoon for mashed potatoes.
I was gonna say mashed potatoes, I use a fork.
Yeah, and soup, all very much, or mixing spoons for like, it's gonna be far harder to mix your hot chocolate if you're using a fork as opposed to a spoon.
Not really.
Yes, really.
No.
Yep.
Honestly, when I move into my next place, I'm probably gonna get like one spoon. And that's gonna be for like, I don't know, measuring out some stuff. But like, I don't use spoons. I don't see the importance of spoons. Spoons are very like basic rudimentary things. They don't even have a cool history. It's just like, we had spoons shaped rocks and shells and we used them to eat food before we knew what fire was. Like, it's just so old and so, like, it hasn't been reimagined recently, and it's, like, the Oscar Wilde part of myself is dying every time I have to touch a spoon, because, like, the aesthetics of a spoon are just stupid. God, I just said that.
My goodness. No. I just thought of something else that you can't do with anything but a spoon.
Oh?
Have you ever had a shot where there are layers in the shot? You'll have, like, vodka on one layer, then Kahlua, and then, I don't know, Fireball on the top or something?
Why would you want a spoon for a shot?
Here's why. The only way to layer them, so you look at it and it's like, it looks like layered, like a parfait or layered cake, but in shot form. The only way you can do that is with a spoon.
I mean, if the density of the alcohol is different, you just let it separate.
How long is that going to take?
I mean, usually an hour.
Well, this takes 3 seconds.
Delayed gratification, my friend.
Oh my god, don't you go on about that.
I will. Delayed gratification is my favorite thing because it is so relevant to our time. Like, delayed gratification is what we live by with the whole Amazon thing and, like, our lives. We need to live by delayed gratification occasionally. And if you want to have a fancy-ass shot, also you might hear a plane in the background, sorry. If you want to have a fancy-ass shot, wait for it. Ho, don't use a goddamn spoon. Spoons are for children, and, like, children are chill. Like, I like children, but children don't have the motor capacity that many adults do, because, when you live, and you're living through life, you slowly develop the tools to be able to do things without spoons, because spoons are stupid. I hate spoons.
Wow. I'm just gonna pull one up here. How am I going to make a wonderful,
Are you typing this into Google?
Nope. I'm sorry
Are you typing into Ask Jeeves?
No. Oh my god, I hate the names for shots sometimes.
I mean, there's a lot of shots.
How can I make a slippery nipple if I don't have Kahlua, butterscotch liquor, and Irish cream, and not a spoon? Like,
here's the thing. Who wants a slippery nipple?
Listen.
That isn't even good.
Hold on.
That's just gross.
How about B-52? Because the B-52s are a band, and it's also a plane. And it's also made with stuff that I'm not a huge fan of. Okay, Old Glory. Blue
You're
Curacao,
not doing this well.
cream, and grenadine. All
also,
awesome.
Here's the thing. Why would you want a layered shot? All of the alcohol is gross. You mix it in, and you hope for the best, honestly.
Because it mixes when you drink it, and that the look on the shot itself, like, changes the taste for you. If you just get, like, this brown, milky-esque shot, you're gonna be like, this is a shot that's gonna taste awful, but I'm gonna drink it anyways. When you get a shot that's layered, when it's layered, and the only way you can layer it is with a spoon, I gotta tell you how sometime or show you, but it's like you have the layer of grenadine, you put the spoon down, and then you put the cream on, but if you land it on the spoon, it will layer on top of the grenadine. It won't mix, so it'll be layered. you're going to get that at your table and they're going to be like, oh my God, this looks like it's going to taste amazing. And then it surprises you that it doesn't. But it's a shot, so it's okay.
But, Eric, that is the representation of how your hangover is going to look tomorrow. It's the reminder that you're going to get niked. And you're going to get niked hard.
Current you doesn't care about tomorrow. Current you just wants to have a good shot.
Dude, honestly, the one time that we had that really nasty shot at that place down on the east side of Sioux Falls before you left for California the first time, I don't remember what it was, but it was gross. I had it, and I slammed it down, and I was like, that was awful. And then secret me in my mind was like, you're going to regret this in the morning. And I was sure right. Actually, you had it worse off than I did, but haha.
Oh, well, is that the night that, like, Justin and I went off to this random house? And that was a hell of a night. Wow.
I was there with you.
I don't remember you there, to be honest. I just remember me and Justin.
I showed up halfway into your little secret party in the attic, and then shit got weird, and I was like, okay, I'm outie, because this is weird. And they're like, we want to go home too. And I was like, good, because y'all asses need to sober up.
Oh my God. Like, I won't even mention about what happened, because there's stuff that happened there where I'm like, wow, I didn't think that could happen in South Dakota. But I'm also like,
happened, and you know what happened.
Yeah, I know we both know what happened.
Oh yeah, we know.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more, say no more. No, but I have never been so, what's the word? Twisted, I think, in my life.
Twisted?
Not twisted.
Shook?
No.
Were you shooketh?
Nah, never mind. It's not something that's even podcast worthy. But oh my gosh, that was one heck of a way to, end my time here in South Dakota. Well, there in South Dakota, I suppose, because now I'm not here.
I'm here and you're not, because you have nice ass weather and I don't even have a blizzard.
Yeah, did you like my pictures of the beach today? It was nice.
I haven't looked at your Instagram yet, but I saw your other pictures that you sent to me, and I was like, oh
yeah. There's pictures on Snapchat and Instagram if you want to look at them. Snap Story and Instagram. You can look me up on Eric Free on Instagram, and Snapchat is Eric Freestyle. One word, both of them. Yeah.
LOL. I have
out.
Not even...
Fam.
I don't remember what your Snapchat name is, because I changed your name, like your Snapchat handle in my phone.
Well, it's Eric Freestyle. It's not free because I can't change it. Snapchat doesn't have that ability, apparently.
Because I can't change it.
Nope.
Poor Eric. Well, mine is RefGirl21, and you're going to get a lot of aesthetic things, and also me partying, so have fun with that.
Yeah, great. Well, last thing. Spoons are mini bowls, and where would we be without bowls? Also, teaspoons and tablespoons.
Mini spoons.
Teaspoons and tablespoons.
Those aren't spoons. Those are utensils. Those are not spoons.
Yeah, a spoon is a utensil.
A spoon is cutlery. A utensil... I will fight you on this.
You are making things up. You are just making it sound like you're right.
Semantics are important. And of course I am. I'm arguing this because I'm passionate.
Oh, goodness me. Well, there, I gave my reason for spoons being good, and it had to do with you can't make a layered shot without a spoon. And layered shots are awesome, because it makes you look like you're a bartender.
Are a mistake. Layered shots are a mistake.
They're so much fun to make, though. They're so fun to make.
I need to tell you a quick story.
Oh, goodness.
Remember how I went to New York this past August?
Nope.
No? Really? No, I went to New York this past August,
I remember.
and I had a great time. It was so much fun. But I went to the World Trade Center, and they have this little gift shop on the very top of it. Or the New World Trade, the Freedom Tower, there we go, that's what it's called. So I went to the little gift shop there, and I was like, what should I get that I can bring home that's going to be a perfect representation of this place to me? And so I'm looking around, and then I spot it. From across the shelving units, I see a little glint of a shot glass. Ooh, this is so good. A shot glass for the Freedom Tower. Ugh, perfect.
You know,
I'm
that'd
so
be
proud of that purchase.
you know it'd be the perfect thing to put in that shot glass. Old
Do
Glory.
not. Do
Old
not.
Glory. A
I
good
hate
bit
you.
of blue curacao, cream, and grenadine. Yeah, you hear
God,
it
that
here,
sounds
but the
awful.
only real way to make it is to use a spoon and then
How about you
put
don't
the
use a
layers
spoon
of
and you just
cream
suffer
on
like
top
the horrible person you are?
and then the blue curacao on top of that.
Oh my god.
And then you have the old. You can't have Old Glory without it being layered because you need the red,
That
white, and
sounds-
blue.
Oh no. That's bad. That's so bad. Don't
so
do
good.
that.
I love
Why are
grenadine.
you doing that?
Grenadine's great. Cream is
Grenadine
cream.
is not great.
And
Grenadine
blue
is
curacao
awful.
is great.
I don't think I can even have grenadine.
Curacao. I thought it was wine based. I don't remember actually.
You'll have to give me the what it is. Anyway, spoons suck. You're wrong. Yeah.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Spoons. Spoons.
I thought we were done with spoons.
We are done with spoons, but spoons are awful. Every time I tell my friends how much I don't like spoons, they're always a little bit like confused that I have such strong opinions about spoons. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just don't like spoons. Spoons are weird. Spoons are not fun.
Whoa.
So Eric,
Ha.
do you want to talk about our heavy topic now? It's
Oh
so heavy.
lordy. Go for
We're
it.
gonna talk about the heavy topic.
Oh goodness.
Here we go. Heavy topic of the day is going to be prisons and the prison kind of mass incarceration issue that we have in America. Eric, take it away.
Wait, I'm starting with this?
Wait, do you want me to
Juba.
start with it? Because I can start because I have strong feelings about our mass incarceration here because it's super freaking racist
Well, I mean,
and bad.
we're like the country of racism, though. We're the country of racism, but not admitting to racism.
I mean,
We're,
I
we're-
would say that the UK is maybe a little bit more racist than we are.
honestly, I think Japan is pretty racist because they don't ever have to worry about people saying, you're racist for that comment because most of them are Japanese. So they just,
True.
they don't see people who are from Africa or from America or from the United Kingdom very often. So it's okay to be a little racist over there. But
Everybody's a little bit racist.
I mean,
sometimes.
yeah. But that's a whole another topic. Where it's not bad, it's just they don't see what other people look like or act like very often. And the only way that they know about them is through like media interpretations of them. So we all have
Which
big
are
noses
also racist.
or are fat or, other things. But that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, so the thing that I've always been kind of a very annoyed person with the whole like mass incarceration issue that we have in the United States because one, I think putting low-level drug offenders and non-violent drug offenders in prison is such a witch hunt and it's so stupid and it's directly targeted at like minority populations and I hate it. I hate it so much. Like, I don't want my tax dollars going towards prisons when it doesn't help rehabilitate a person and it doesn't actually do anything but put the bad guys away. And I use air quotes around that because no. Like, we're so fixed on we're so fixed on this idea of there's the bad guys and there's the good guys and all the bad guys do the drugs and all the good guys get away with it. I don't know. It's
Get away with it. Or have the
honestly,
money to
like,
get away with it.
it's so stupid and I hate it. And I don't want my tax dollars going to something that's an ineffective program when there are so many other issues like infrastructure that I would like to have addressed first because I think that would actually save lives instead of putting away people who like did marijuana and got caught. Like, are you kidding me? They aren't hurting themselves, or they're not hurting anyone, really. Like, maybe they're damaging their lungs if they smoked it, but that's about it. So, the kind of way that we're putting people away in these prisons is just so frustrating to me, and I absolutely hate it.
You'll hurt your lungs and your throat and your vocal cords if you smoke anything, but I mean, it'll be the same thing if you're
Cigarettes
like,
are legal.
oh yeah, but cigarettes are still legal for some reason. Admittedly, it's not. It's okay to, or it's not okay to smoke cigarettes in most restaurants or establishments, at least in some states. I think it's illegal in South Dakota at least, and California maybe. I have to look it up. But there are locations that I imagine you can go to specifically to smoke, or like they state that yes, it's okay to be like. There's a place called like a smokehouse or something in downtown Sioux Falls that I always wanted to go to, and honestly always wanted to have a cigar there. But the issue is, well, number one, it's you have to buy a cigar.
You have like asthma.
You have to make the time. I had reactive airway disease, but I grew out of it. But it's one of those like alcohol is pretty bad for you. Smoking anything is pretty bad for you. It's a matter of are you okay with damaging yourself a little bit with the assumption that you'll repair yourself, or that you might be taking a few essentially minutes or hours off of your life. And it's one of those sort of things where, you know, what's the point is kind of the idea. And will this hurt me? Because the deal is that if you try it once and then you have to do it more and more and more and more, then yes, it's an issue. But if it's something where, wow, we went to France, and you know what I found? I found a Cuban cigar, an actual Cuban cigar. Or you go to, you know, Cuba or someplace and they sell Cuban cigars. It's one of those, we have to try this. We have to get together and we have to just have a group and we have a Cuban cigar. And it's one of those like a moment that you'll have that you'll never be able to try again, or you'll never like really want to because you've already experienced it. It's not something that you do on a regular basis. So I don't know. It really it's up to you. It's up to your life. And as long as it doesn't hurt other people, like you're not blowing smoke in other people's faces or in a zone where, you know, the smoke builds up and people who don't want to be smoking it essentially are smoking it. Maybe even worse than that because they're actually just sucking it all in and breathing it. Whereas smoking it just goes into your mouth and then you blow it out. Or at least that's how I do it. But it's something that it's not good to make a habit of, and arguably not good to even do once. But it's the same thing for alcohol too. I don't know. That's something that I feel like a lot of people can have different opinions on or feel really differently about. And it really comes down to, is it something that is only affecting you, or is this something that's affecting you and everyone else around you or your family? That's when you need to start figuring out when to make decisions for other people, essentially, or say,
that's kind of like the problem that I have about like cigarettes is that they're inherently made so that you have more cigarettes and they're full of really bad stuff. But like with marijuana, it's not chock full of things that are carcinogenic. It's bad for your lungs to smoke. But like also the fact that like something as minor as marijuana can get all of these people sent to prisons. I'm slowly but surely bringing us back to the topic.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I was like, we went into Sidebar Nation, but this was a good conversation. But I'm also gonna wheel it back. These prison population sizes are just so massive and so poorly treated. Like Eric mentioned last week, I think, or whenever the hell we posted the last podcast, about like the dehumanization of people in prisons. And I think that's one thing that we hold as like a society at large, is if anybody we know has gone to prison, we immediately see them differently and we don't see them as much as human as they used to be. And I think that's a huge problem, especially for people who go to prison, try to come out, change their lives, you know, make things for the better, and they can't get a job because they are an con person or ex-criminal. And it's just, I hate it. I hate it so much. It just makes me so emotional because, like, I imagine what it would be like to, you know, make one mistake where it's not even like a big deal kind of mistake where like, you know, you're caught in possession of marijuana and then you have to go to prison, and because you can't reach bail, you have to be there for like, you know, I think the minimum sentencing was like 8 years or whatever. That's almost a decade of your life taken from you because you've smoked something that's not even as bad as cigarettes. And, you know, maybe you didn't even smoke it. Like, it's just, the idea that a decision like that could drastically affect your life, and then, as soon as you get out, you're isolated from your family, you missed out on all of these events, and you can't get a job because nobody wants to hire someone who was a criminal, and it's just so aggravating. This system wasn't built to make people better. This system was built to penalize people and to continue hurting them after they've paid their time. Like, don't get me wrong. I think, like, murderers should be put away. I think anybody who deals heroin needs to be put away because heroin is destroying so many lives right now. And, like, I get so mad about that. But, I don't want to have someone who, was trying out weed or was, just... Sorry, I'm saying a lot. Oh, God, I'm turning into Cecil Baldwin. Oh, horrible. It's so frustrating that these people have their lives turned up on their heads for something so minor that any white could get away with. Like, this happens... Oh, there it is again.
Yeah.
Now I'm noticing it.
Hope you're not black, because it's going to get way worse.
I know.
The sad thing is that's actually true in a lot of states. Yeah. No, there was... I wanted to make a mention on something that you just said, but I've forgotten what it was. But something I did want to mention is how I looked up an article about this, specifically talking about, jails in America, prisons in America. They never used to be this bad. They didn't become this bad until the Reagan administration in the 1980s, where things got really bad. Or wait, was it Reagan or was it Nixon? I don't remember. I'm actually going to look this up.
I think it was Reagan.
Reagan.
Because wasn't he the one who was like, let's get after all these drugs, let's have a war on drugs or whatever?
I was right. War on drugs. War on noun. Dumb.
Well,
But
all
in
we've been
all
having
fairness,
is waging wars on nouns.
yeah. But in all fairness, a war on something that's not a place or people, except for maybe Vietnam, because dear God, Vietnam, but is going to fail. Mm-hmm. Like if it's wait, did I say that right? If it's not a place or a people, it's going to fail. Because war on drugs, there's no way you're going to succeed. You know how many drugs there are, how many people there are, how many people you'd have to regulate, and how much funding you'd have to put into it. And it's one of those, this isn't a war on people like becoming, what's the word? I'm saying and stuff now. But this isn't a war on our loss of rights or our loss of ability to be people or loss of ability to handle ourselves. We need the government to help us out. It's a war on the people that we don't like, that the white folk or the government doesn't like. That it's a matter of, we know that the Asians in the early 1900s, we know that the Asians are having opioids. So let's put out a drug that makes it illegal to do that. And we can incarcerate all the people that do use opioids, and the majority of them will be Asians. We can get them out of their houses and get the white folk in there. And then when it became legal to smoke weed or smoke crack, let's start with crack. Smoking crack had a harder penalization on people than powder does. That doesn't make sense. It's kind of like crack both ways, or it's, same thing. But because more black people were the ones that were smoking it rather than using the powder, they were easier to put away or easier to get out of whatever living situation they were in, and then, the white folk come in. And it kind of works the same thing with marijuana. Marijuana is something that, it's something the black people do, the Hispanics do. Yeah, it's something that that's how we get them, is how we... because everyone does it. When you go to college, when you're around people in a city, it's something that you come by all the time, and it's something that genuinely we all know, at least in weed, genuinely that we all know that it's for the most part safe, or at the very least safer than cigarettes. But it's I think it's fascinating that, as an example, I think I mentioned this before. Weed is illegal, but opioid-based painkillers are not. There's research that you can still do on opioid-based painkillers, because, people need them, but weed is not. Weed is a cheap, very effective alternative when it comes to pain relief, and it would be super good, at least for people over the age of like 21, 25 maybe because of brain development, but it would be super nice to use that as opposed to an addictive substance that can, lead to the opioid epidemic that we now have. And that's something that we can't really do anything about now because we know what, the hospitals did wrong, and it had to do with, how was your surgery? Do you feel good? Will you give us a good rating? No, I'm still in pain. I'm going to give you a terrible rating. Well, give him more opioids. Why is the pain still not gone? Keep giving him opioids. It's one of those sort of things where if they would have not listened and they would have just smoked some pot, they would have been fine. Yeah. And they would not be addicted to heroin now.
Well, and I think another thing that really isn't being addressed by our government, which I really wish would be, is that, like, our generation is the most cynical generation that's come about in years. And part of that comes from, we're very disillusioned from the government and the state of the world and the state of our economy and the way that things are moving forward. But no one is addressing mental health needs of our generation and past generations. And I think it's one of those things that if we address mental health, a lot of these issues wouldn't actually be problems.
Yeah.
We talk about mental health. We talk about, hey, what are some options for treatment? Well, marijuana really helps me. And with patient confidentiality, you can get some statistics. How many people are using this to manage their symptoms? How effective is it? Blah, blah, blah. And we can be like, hey, we have some evidence here. This is some, we've surveyed a bunch of people anonymously. They've said that this has been very helpful for them. Because I know at least 5 people that use marijuana illegally, unfortunately, to manage their mental health, their depression, because they don't like the way that some medications make them feel. And also, those medications are very expensive without insurance.
Oh, yeah. We could have a whole episode talking about expensive medical drugs that just the amount of money it takes to produce them based as opposed to the money it takes to buy them is so ridiculous that should be a whole issue on itself. But marijuana, the only issue is marijuana, until more recently, is harder to come by without it being passed through dirty hands, essentially, where the place that this was grown, cultivated, and sent through had some bad ties, had some, it came from what is the word? Gangs.
Like a drug cartel or something.
Yeah, or cartels in Mexico or some other South American country or Latin American country, I suppose, would have it would be blood weed or something like that. But you could also say the same thing about weed. Yeah, I know. You could say the same thing about avocados or diamonds.
Gosh.
And there's a whole business being run by a cartel or cartels in the South, like, South America. And again, I think I need to find the article for this or something, but avocados are being grown there, and avocado farmers have to give their money to these cartels or they would risk losing it, or the prices keep going up and up, and it's a huge problem down there right now. But avocados, man. And the other issue was diamonds, that you can't trace diamonds a lot of the time. You can say that you can, or there are services that say that they can, like we know that we got these diamonds from a mine in Canada, but it may have just as easily have come from a place that is going through far more issues. And
to be completely honest, when/if I ever get married, I am not going to ask for a fancy, like, really expensive diamond ring from my significant other.
Oof.
It's stupid. Like, I'd rather have a man-made diamond that's going to look identical and is going to be way cheaper and isn't going to be, like, made from the blood of people who didn't deserve to be punished and, like, hurt in such a way. Like, it's not worth it to me morally to have this all-natural rock on my finger. Like, really? It's not that big of a deal to me. I'd rather it be just an object that represents love and caring and communion and just the promise that I would love this person forever. It doesn't have to be something that's made from the ground. I'd rather it be something that can withhold my own moral standing while I wear it representing love. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in this.
Now, diamonds and rings and stuff like that for marriage, that's going to be something that's one of the last traditions that we are going to get rid of, or that will be very difficult to get rid of, because the whole thing is there's marketing, Santa Claus with Coke products, or with diamonds are a girl's best friend. It's all old, almost propaganda. So
didn't
say
you
what?
Hear?
What?
The millennials, they're killing the diamond industry.
Really? No, tell me more.
Yeah, no, I read an article that I think the Washington Post put out. It was like, millennials are killing the diamond industry because they're not buying rings that are made from places that are really shady. And it's like, what?
Good.
And they're also not buying diamonds because they're really expensive. Amazing.
We're also not buying houses. It's not like we don't have the
jobs to support it.
They're like, we have the education, but we don't have the jobs, and we don't have the places to live, or that everything's far more expensive than it was in, say, the 70s. It's and it's not, but inflation. No, it's not. It's not about inflation, man. And then you could also say there's far more things that we're supposed to have. I should go into a whole topic about that. But yeah, it's very hard, and diamonds are less important than food.
Wait, how did we get on the topic of diamonds?
Yeah, we're supposed to be talking about the prison industry.
Oh my God.
Private prisons. Yeah, we've gone for about 10 minutes on tangents upon tangents. But yeah, what I was going to talk about before we got into this had to do with 1980s, Reagan administration, war on drugs. That's where this all came from. The amount of people being put into prisons and jails was far increased. Like, you can see the curve on, like, look up, what is this? Look up United States incarceration rate on Wikipedia, and you'll see where the decisions were made to increase, war on drugs and Reagan. You can see where it happened, because the rate of people getting sent to prison or jail just went up so much. Like, it's so freaking much. It was incredible.
Well,
and what's really
of course,
awful,
led right into the privatization of prisons too.
I was about to say, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was just reading a little bit from this Washington Post article. Interestingly enough, this is going to be a mini sidebar, I promise, but at the top of the Washington Post page, it says democracy dies in darkness, and I think that's really chilling, but also, like, good on them. I know, right? Okay, so anyway, so I'm reading this article, and they're talking about how, like, private companies house nearly half of the nation's immigrant detainees.
Wow.
That were captured over a decade ago. Like, and that's compared to like 25% that happened over a decade ago. And I think that's insane, one, but it's like, you can see how people are being super racist about this when it comes to like private prisons. And it's not like people in private prisons are getting a better lot than those who are not in private prisons, because either way, it's a horror show in there. There's an entirely different kind of classification of people. You have to do different things to survive in a prison, especially if you are smaller or more feminine. Like, or it just...
look like me.
Yeah.
If I did anything wrong or got caught with weed and was sent to jail or prison for that, oh my God, I would be...
screwed. Literally.
I would have to kill to survive. And I would like to avoid that if I can. But no, that's it's an incredibly obvious, clear racist move that, frankly, we're not going to get solved unless something really changes, because we have a lot of other issues, and a lot of people, prison inmates aren't people anymore, is the way our government looks. Government looks at this, because if you say to anyone in the rest of the world, hey, well, we send people to our prisons and private prisons, and they're like, wait, did you just say private prisons? Like prisons for profit? What? You can't do that. Is that allowed? Does America do that? It's messed up.
It's basically slavery.
Oh yeah, it totally is. And there was a slave strike in Florida, I think, about that. I think it was Florida. But there was a slave strike. There was a workers' strike. They were a bunch of inmates, I think in Florida, that went on strike because it was slavery. And I don't actually know what happened to that. It kind of got quiet, and I never heard about it again after hearing about it happening in the first place.
That's a little sketch.
Yeah, so
Well, and like
things
what I was
ain't
gonna
good.
say about this topic is that like honestly, I think what would fix this is that if Congress and state representatives were not allowed to accept money from companies, because the reason this has been something that hasn't really been addressed is because of the massive amounts of money that these private prisons throw at the legislator, and how nothing's going to change as long as they are siding with these corporations, these businesses, these, oh my god, I can't believe that prisons are businesses. That's
Or that
so
they have to have
disgusting.
a certain amount of beds filled in prisons to turn a profit, and that if they
Oh
don't
my
get
god.
that, yeah, it's like it's unbelievable. And here's what I don't understand. People in Congress and in like the House, the Senate, they can pass bills to increase their pay. What I'm confused about is if they're able to do that, why do they care about how much money they get from lobbyists? Like, again, it goes to one of those like
Or why should they be allowed to accept that money?
or why can it be, anonymous or anything like that?
There are two rules that I want to have put into place: that these government officials cannot accept money from lobbyists, and that they don't have to make the calls to their people in the state begging for money. I think that people who work in Congress, who work like for our government, should only get the pay that government workers get paid. Because, like, I would like to see that firefighters and police officers get paid more because their jobs are so dangerous. If a
Yes.
government officer wants to get paid more because they work in the legislature, pass payment so that all government workers can get paid more and equally. I mean, the fact that a government official gets paid more money than a firefighter does, or like a police officer that has to work in high gang areas, or even areas that aren't. Like, they are putting their lives on the line for us. It is a conscious choice that they are making. The fact that they aren't paid more leads to them having more issues on the job. They are going to accept more hours, even though they're not able to really work like that and work at a capacity like that, not at a high stress level. Treat your government workers better, and don't let government officials accept what is approximately a bribe from these institutions.
Essentially.
Maybe? I don't know. That sounds intelligent to me, but maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Hello,
No.
I'm Salty Miss Salt.
Well, honestly, if you want to learn anything about this, watch some. What are the words? The words that I'm looking for.
Documentaries.
No. Well, yeah, but I was gonna say watch Adam Ruins Everything.
Oh, yeah. He did a
'Cause
good one on that.
They nail it with how they present their material. It's correct. It's correct. It's precise. It's fun to watch. And what's better is they have an end of the year what we messed up or did wrong show where they do Adam Ruins Everything. Adam Ruins Everything, and
Oh, that's cute.
it's wonderful. It's so good. And I'm like,
Well, I like that they
this
call
is what
themselves
I
out on
want.
their own mistakes.
It's so important because what's the word? Them being reliable, it just goes up through the roof because they're willing to say, yeah, we made mistakes. So does everyone else. Let's tell you exactly what we did so you don't have to think this anymore. You'll think the correct thing. It's just, this is what I want to watch in my media.
I was
And-
gonna say that's something that Philip DeFranco does that I really respect him for, is that he calls
Philip
himself out
DeFranco.
on his own mistakes, and I think we need to have more of that. Just be timely about it, be respectful about it,
Yeah.
be a good person about it.
We have reached the 1 hour mark, and I really want to talk more, but we probably should stop. Actually, we're more
Wrap things up.
we're about at an hour and 3 minutes, I think, right now.
Okay, let's talk about some good things that happened to us this week.
Okay. I did 2 auditions, and those were fun. One of them might pay me a bit, and it will be nice. And I'm also back in town. I said that last time. I'm back in my stage show, and it's a lot of fun. And I still have my lines memorized. And I need to invite people to come and see my show because I would like them to see me act first of all, but I also want them to throw some money at the theater because I think the theater is something that this theater specifically I think is very good. And I think that they have a lot of potential, but they're in a really bad location because it costs a ton to work there and that they need to get to North Hollywood like they've been telling me. But that I want to support them. So I want to bring people to come and see the show. And it will be really fun because...
What's the show about again?
The Angel Academy is what it's called. It's essentially, I'm an angel amongst other angels, and we are... okay, so there's a little bit of incorrectness when it comes to Christianity and how we look at angels. Angels in real life... I don't even know if I should say that.
In real life?
I mean, for me, yeah, I suppose. But angels are their own entities. They're like their own thing. Humans can't become angels. Humans are their own things. When they die, they become spiritual humans, essentially. Angels are like an alien that also happens to really like us. And unless they don't, in which case they become, Lucifer or other demon-esque people. But the point is, that's not the point. The point is that for this show, humans are trying their best to become angels, and they die, and then they're like, great. Well, not great, but hey, you died. Well, you want to get to heaven, right? You want to be really cool and good and stuff? Well, you're going to be a guardian angel for some people, and if you do good, you're going to get on up to heaven. And it's... Actually, I guess if you say guardian angel, it might be different, because, I don't know. I have to talk to a priest or a pastor about that. But, yeah, that's the story where all these humans, angels, are becoming guardian angels to help people out, and then they go to heaven afterwards. And the dude who plays Mr. Smith is a phenomenal actor. I think he's so cool. He's in charge. He's the dude in charge of the theater. Oh my god, he's a dude that helps doctor scripts when they come out or before they come out. Like he doctored the latest Star Wars movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he told me some things that I mentioned this to you about how there are some things that happen in the movie where he's like, I'm gonna say this. I mentioned this to you before about like, I haven't seen the movie yet as an thing, but he told me
Eric,
when you see
watch it.
When you think when you're watching it, think slave boy. I think it was, and at the end you'll see what I mean. That's your proof that I helped work with this script, and that's basically what he told me. And it was one of those like, yeah. He's a really great actor. I want to see him in more stuff, and I want to do more stuff with him because I think he's phenomenal. And also, he helps, make scripts look good and stuff. Yeah. So, but
you should hook him up with me because I also do the script writing thing. Thanks.
Well, I mean, I'll see what I could do. If you write, well, here's the way to do it. Write a stage show. I'll show it to him. He'll be like, "Yeah, come on down. We'll do it for free."
Oh God.
You can do that. I have that connection. If anyone wants to make a stage show, come talk to me, and I can put it on stage here. I can make that happen. But,
honestly, I've kind of been wanting to write a stage show, but I would have to work on it a bit.
Oh, there you go. I need to tell Travis about this because he would love this theater and to make it work. But the other deal was work has been hard lately. There has not been a lot of work going around, and it's a little scary for money. Considered wise. Yeah, it's gonna get better, but it doesn't feel like it is until it does. So right now it's like, oh, I don't like it at all. Oh my god. But I've talked enough. We're a lot of time. You do a thing. What happened to you?
So I recently was up at Hamlin for a little bit. That's where I go to school in St. Paul, and I was just having a good time hanging out with friends, but on the way back I was walking through this plot for the book that I'm working on right now, or rather the book series, and it's been a really complicated story for me to tell because it is involving time travel across the books, so I have to kind of plot ahead of time things that happen so that I can write them in the first book when they're really happening in the fourth book or whatever. And just working through this and how I want to write it and how I want to work it all together, it just gave me this new appreciation of the story and of writing in general. And I got I didn't realize that I was kind of slipping a little bit from my writing, but it just made me so excited that I'm writing the story and that I'm having fun with it and that I'm really like enjoying it, I guess. And that it's kind of a small thing for me because, I never thought I would like be disillusioned by writing, and I don't think I ever could be. But being able to find out just how passionate I am about a story that I want to write and how excited I am to finish this draft and edit it and put it all together, it's just I'm really excited to see things happen with this. And yeah, I really hope that this book is something that I can be proud of and that would like other people would enjoy. Like, this is going to be sounding kind of weird, but my idea of a successful book is if at least one person does a fan fiction of it or does fan art of it.
That was always my thing for a YouTuber. Once they make a song about you or fan art that they send you, or put you in a story with other YouTubers, or have you in a weird relationship with other YouTubers as a fanfic, you've succeeded. I mean, if you're making money, great, but if that's happening, if you impact people's lives enough where they want to be creative about you, you've succeeded.
Yeah, that's
I
exactly.
don't know if there's anything else that will make you as happy as something like that, because you can make as much money as PewDiePie, but you'll also be as sad as PewDiePie, where he thinks each day where it's, well, not anymore maybe, but how fake he has to be and how sad he is in real life and how he wish he could be real, but being real doesn't make him money. Mm-hmm. That the best days of PewDiePie were in the past and they aren't a thing anymore. That's changed now, I think. I've been watching PewDiePie recently and I'm like, oh my God.
Honestly, I feel like I'd be really
I love
sad
his
if
content
I watched him,
again. I love his content again, though. Like, he does meme review. Meme review. Meme review. It's just one of those.
I love it.
But can you do this?
I'm kind of worried about, like, watching him again because, okay, this is going to sound horrible, but, like,
also,
I feel like
Never mind.
I know.
Okay,
I
good.
feel like when you watch a YouTuber like PewDiePie who's had like controversy, there are some people that will get on your ass about it. They're like, "Oh, how can you support a Nazi?" And it's like, I'm pretty sure he's not a Nazi because all of those were jokes. They're like, "Well, how can you support a racist?" And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he thought it was just a really shitty joke and it didn't land, and obviously it was racist for him to say it, but he's acknowledged that it was racist, and like, you have to be able to come back from that, I guess.
The biggest thing, Swedish racism is different from US racism, and sometimes he becomes more Swedish than he is US or the rest of the world. So when the rest of the world is like, oh my God, wait, no, when America is like, oh my God, you said this word, everyone else is kind of like, oh, he said a word that is, racist in America. And then America freaks out and they're like, oh, wait, he did this thing that was racist in America. Now we're all mad. And it's one of those like, at least he says he's racist at a moment,
Yeah.
Like it's messed
that
up.
He like owned up to it.
Well, it's the thing where he just said it. There are people who are racist that people support out here who don't say the word, but, hashtag shithole countries,
Oh my God. Please
Oh,
murder me.
but he actually fessed up and said that, yeah, he did say it. So the Republicans that were in the room that said that he didn't say it or didn't remember it are now the liars.
Honestly, I think it's hilarious
fun
that a
times
Republican's
in
like,
America.
oh, I don't recall what happened. I kind of blacked out for 3 seconds there and missed the word that he said completely.
Also, we are definitely over time. We definitely need to
we
wrap
said
it up.
our happy moments. We got randomly political at the end. Okay. Here's the thing.
Unless you want to go for 2 hours.
Here's the thing. Lovely viewer or listener of us, go treat yourself tonight. Get your favorite food, get your favorite tea or hot drink, settle in with a nice blanket, put on your favorite movie, put on your favorite show, watch or pull out your favorite book. Let yourself have this night because I care about you and self-love is important. Any other thoughts, Eric? Shut up.
Yeah. I watched Steins Gate yesterday. Well, half of it anyways. Oh my god, Steins Gate is such a fun anime. Actually, it's really cool. I'm
Tonight
excited
I'm
to
gonna
watch the rest
The
of it.
Godfather for the first time.
I still need to do that.
Yeah.
We should do those things. I'll finish watching Steins Gate and you'll watch The Godfather. My roommate was just telling me about how you're not a very, you know, you're an interesting actor because you don't watch a lot of movies, and I'm like, I know. It's a problem. I'm going to try to get it fixed.
I was like, I can give you a list of movies that are not that well known that you should watch. Okay, anyway, we need to wrap this up. We're bad at wrapping things up.
Yeah, no, this is good. I think we're fine. But we'll wrap it up right there. I think that's enough to room for my music. So, thank you all so much for listening to the podcast pending thing. And I don't know if we should say that I'm Eric Freedy Free or Freedy Free and you should say Randine at the end. I don't know if it even matters.
I mean, maybe they forgot. Maybe they got amnesia in the middle and they're like, who are these people who are talking? It's too late for me to ask what their names are again. How can I survive? And then we'll be like, I'm Randine. And they'll be like, oh, thank God.
Oh, okay. Well, there. I'm Freedy Free, or Eric, if you so choose. And we'll just
Randina.
see you on the next podcast.
Next time, maybe next week, but definitely next time.
All right. Well,
Okay.
bye-bye.
Bye. And cut.